I've heard advice that you should pick just one thing and work as hard as humanly possible on just that one thing and see what happens. Because we're also scattered with like 12 big dreams and all these things we want to do. We're scattered and we don't know how to multitask. And, you know, like you mentioned, what is it where your thoughts go, your energy flows, or something like that. So yeah, if you just dedicated like everything you've got, all your energy, and it's just a spotlight on one area, whether it's like just getting in the best shape of your life or just working on this one album that you're writing, you have no idea what you're capable of if you actually played it 100% in one area. So that's good advice, even if it's for 1 month. Like, give it 1 month to see what you can do with your health. Like, if you've been struggling for 6 years, it's 1 month. You know, maybe you can't hold it up over 6 months or a year, but can you do something for 1 month and just see? And it's like, you have no idea what you're capable of at the end of the month. Like, you could have lost 10 pounds and you have endless energy and you're sleeping better, and suddenly you're attracting all these awesome people because of the energy you're putting out and the space you're in. Like, you have no idea how much your life can change by just dedicating to one thing. So I always thought that was really good advice.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And that's why when I read, I see the energy I feel, and, you know, I'm feeling this. So I have, you know, some people are, in terms of their energy, are drained, you know, their situation is very draining, and how, so I kind of usually use the tarot as a tool to just have a conversation with people, like, because they have the answers within them. It's not in the tarot, it's in them. The tarot is kind of letting them see the possibilities, right? And so it's in them, and then knowing and having faith that they can do it. That's why, for me, I remember when I was miscarrying a lot, and, you know, I was reading my Bible, I was believing it, but there was something missing. Like, the doctors weren't sure what was happening, and I was like, I want to see a psychic. I'm like, where's my great grandmother? I want to ask her, is this coming? And I remember going to the psychic that I go to actually still once a year. I do a yearly, like January, or on my birthday, I'll see the psychic. And he was like, I see this baby, I see you changing your job. And he was right. Like, not that he was right. He showed me like that it was coming. And he was just, matter of fact, yep, the baby's coming. You know, this is her name, you know, and he was saying it. I'm like, yeah, it's coming. He's like, you're changing your job. And I was like, yeah, I was stressed at work. I was having, like, not that the stress was causing the miscarriages, potentially, like, there was a hormonal issue I was having, but I was so happy that I was like, let me make some changes now. Like, am I in the highest vibration to bring a baby in the world? Is this job the highest vibration? So no, I'm like, no, I want to work with kids. And at that time I was working as a speech pathologist still. And I wanted to work with kids. I was in acute care in a hospital, with really old patients, a lot of stroke patients. And because, and that's the time when I was really paying attention to my intuition. Like, I would have dreams of who was dying. It was just overwhelming for me. But first of all, the nurses, wow, wonderful nurses, like, what they do, they should be millionaires for what they do. Anyways, that's a side note, but I was feeling so much, but I was drained there. And he told me I would change jobs, work with kids, and then I was getting pregnant. It literally happened in 3 months. And I just, you know, when you know, and I'm like, even if this is BS, like, even, because I always had that too. I was a skeptic. I'm a skeptic too. I'm very analytical. I like analyzing, and I'm like, this is BS. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make this true. And just like the opposite, if someone tells you negative news, like, you know, I had my hypnotherapy teacher, where she said that, you know, she went to the doctor after an accident, and he said, you know, you're never gonna walk again. And she's like a hypnotherapy instructor, and she's like, she literally told him off. She's like, F you, you're not going to tell me what my body can do. She told him that. And she, like, walked in 2 months later and said, sorry, I had to swear at you because you can't tell me what my body's going to do. Like, you told me this. And, you know, I always remember that story.
But maybe that's like, that's all a part of this cosmic plan, where She
Yeah,
needed to have someone tell her it's not possible to do what was
exactly.
necessary to make it possible. And that if that guy didn't say that, maybe it would be a slower recovery, or she would never walk again or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to
Right.
know.
Right. That's like with Joe Dispenza's recovery from like this. You read his stuff, right? And he knew what he had to do. He's like, no, they said I had to do this, and I would, it would. I don't know if they told him he'd never walk again. I can't remember
I think
exactly
I
the
think they
details.
said that, yeah, and he's fine
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And it's like it's the power of the brain, of the mind, of the belief system. So I think that's what I want to let people know. And sometimes we don't get that deep, and I don't tell them all that because I kind of want to gauge where they're at. Um, so it's not always like me saying these such impactful words, because some of my clients don't want to hear that. They want to hear what they want to hear, and I let them take away from it what they need, what they want. But I have that knowledge where I have that belief system actually. So I tell them, I'm like, this is my belief system. Just coming into this, not that you need to know that, you'll have your own, but I believe you can create your own reality. So when the cards are coming up, I'm working with you to see what's showing up, but you can change it and you can create whatever you want. And sometimes hearing something makes you believe it so much. That's what I think. So hearing it from somewhere else makes you solidify your own dreams. Like, yes, I was going that way. And yes, this is what I want. And yes, it can happen. Or hearing the opposite, me say exactly what you said. What if I say something? They're like, no, I don't like that. That's not where I'm going. I'm happy either way because that's what they needed. So, and some people might be like, oh, I hated that tarot reader. She was awful. Like, I get that. And it solidifies, I'm not this. I want this. Great. You know, this is who I am. Great. That's, are you in more awareness? The point is that you are creating your reality, your life.